Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I have the new Pink Ladies palette from Sola Look. I'm actually pretty excited about this because I have not tried any of the Sola Look eyeshadows before. They've previously had a Dirty Dancing themed palette and a Flashdance palette, and I haven't purchased either of them. The first time I ever bought anything from Sola Look was when I got their Saved by the Bell liquid lipsticks not too long ago, and I was really impressed with, first off, the detail they put into their packaging and the little kind of like add-ons that they put in there, and they've done it again. But also I was really impressed with the formula of the liquid lipsticks. I've been really happy with them, and I've worn them kind of, you know, throughout just in my daily life every now and then because I don't wear metallic lipsticks all the time, but they are some beautiful colors and great formulas. So let me go ahead and show you. Let me get this out of here. So this is what the carton looks like that it comes in. And this is what the actual palette looks like. And then this is the back. And when you open it, these are the eyeshadow shades. So these are all shimmer shades, which I personally am not super thrilled about. I'm okay with a mostly shimmer palette. I just usually appreciate one or two mattes to throw into the transition. I'm gonna try maybe throwing one of these in my transition just to see what happens, or I might just dip into another palette. And then you do also, so you get a nice mirror here, but then they have Rizzo right there on the side. So that's really cute. I mean, just the detail, like the quality of the palette itself, like the photo on here, I mean, it's just so detailed, so clear. And then of course they always send some kind of fun little thing with their palette. So it came with this sticker of Rizzo, and it came with a Pink Ladies, like an iron-on patch. So you can iron this on if you want to, or just keep it. But yeah, I just love those little touches. So this palette retails for $40. It is currently sold out on their website. I pre-ordered it, so the pre-orders have just now shipped out this past week. So they are going to be restocking it again, and if you're interested in it, you can basically go to Sola Look's website. They have a place where you can put your email address in, and then they will email you when they're going to do the next restock of these palettes. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into some swatches, and then I'll do a quick little eye look. All right, so here are the swatches. Let's go through them one by one. This is Blonde Pineapple, So Pink, Peachy Keen, Beauty School, Jelly Bean, Too Pure, Summer Lovin', Electrifying, Heartbreak, and Frosty Palace. All right, I decided on two looks, so here's the first one. Starting with my Orb of Light palette from Black Moon Cosmetics, I'm using the shade Cold Moon just through the crease to add kind of a matte shade. Then into the Grease palette, I'm starting out with Electrifying on a tiny fluffy brush, and I'm just lightly adding this to the crease just to add a bit more pink tone to what I already laid down. Now I'm using a flat, wet brush. This one has a bit of a point to it, and I'm just packing this on to the outer half of the lid. You could probably do this a lot faster with a larger brush, but I wanted this brush specifically for the point, and you'll see why in just a minute. So I'm basically doing an elongated wing, and I'm using this to kind of etch out the wing and then fill it in. I just wanted to be able to be very detailed, which is why I'm using this tiny little brush. So you might have to dip back into the palette a little bit more. Now into the shade So Pink, I cleaned off the brush and re-wet it, and now I'm just using it to fill in the inner half of the lid. I am making sure I keep that crease nice and etched out, and then I'm packing on that color to make sure it really stands out. Now I'm going back and forth between Electrifying and So Pink just to really blend the two together where they meet. I absolutely love the way this looks. Now into Frosty Palace with a flat angled brush, which I did spray with setting spray, and I'm going to line most of the lower lash line. I'm just leaving a little bit blank on the inner portion. And then I'm doing a nice thin little line underneath my pink wing that I already created. Now I'm going into Jelly Bean with a pencil brush. This is dry, and I'm just going to kind of run this all underneath Frosty Palace until it's nice and smoked out. And I'm just going over Frosty Palace one more time so I don't lose that brightness. Now into the shade Too Pure with that flat angled wet brush, and I'm just going to fill in the inner half of the lower lash line and kind of blend it together with the blue. And then I'm taking just kind of a flat detailed brush, and I'm using that Too Pure shade to do the inner corner highlight and drag it up onto the crease part a little bit. Now for a fun touch, I'm using one of the NYX glitter liners. This is just the silver one, and I'm just tracing out basically where the cut crease would be. And now with the magic of lashes and liner, this is the finished first look. And now for look 2. I'm starting out this look with the Dream Street palette from ColourPop. I'm using the shade Shooting Star just to run a nice matte shade through the crease. Now into the Grease palette, I'm going into the shade Heartbreak on that same brush, and I'm just running this all through the crease and really focusing it on the outer edge. Then I'm using my finger to pack on that Heartbreak shade to the outer portion of the eye. That really just amps it up. Next up is the shade Peachy Keen, and again I'm going to use my finger and just place this on the center of the lid. And lastly, with the shade Blonde Pineapple, I'm just using my pinky to put that right on the inner portion of my lid. Now with a small detail brush, I'm going back into all 3 of those shades one by one, just to kind of blend where each of the colors meet each other and to make sure that the crease area is nice and tidy. Next up is the shade Summer Lovin'. I'm using this for my inner corner highlight, and I'm also going to kind of drag it underneath and up into the crease just a little bit. Now with a flat angled brush back into Heartbreak, I'm going to use this to line a really thick line on the lower lash line. This is a dry brush, so I'm really just kind of layering it. And then I'm using a fluffy brush back into Heartbreak just to kind of really blur that shade out. And after adding liner and lashes, this is the finished look. I also went ahead and added the Sola Look liquid lipstick in the shade Jessie with just a clear gloss over the top. Alright guys, so this is the finished second look. I'm glad I managed to squeeze it out because seriously this right eye is still wanting to water on me. This is what happens when I try to switch and do a second look. I even took a break for dinner and it still is watering on me. But yeah, I really just wanted to be able to show you guys a more natural look since I went kind of fun and crazy the first time around, and I wanted to just show you how the shadows performed using a dry brush and using your finger. I think overall I actually am really happy with these shadows. I still prefer them with a wet brush. That's just my preference for shimmer shadows most of the time anyways, and I had no problem using them that way. With the dry brush, I think the Heartbreak shade, this one right here, worked really nicely, so I think that could work really great through the crease. It didn't come off too shimmery and it gives like a beautiful warmth. The other shades worked nicely when I used them with my finger. I will say this Peachy Keen color, you just gotta watch out which colors you put it next to, because I feel like when you put it next to something like Heartbreak, it kind of just blends in and loses itself. So maybe use that with a different color that has a bit more of a contrast so that it actually stands out, because it is a beautiful shade. I am really happy with this look. I do feel like it's just kind of a nice soft natural everyday type of look. I mean, you know, soft with a giant wing, but you know, not colorful. But I love the first look the best. I think it's just really fun and I love color. So I feel like this really is a collector's piece. I mean, the little unit carton even said collector's edition eyeshadow palette, and that is definitely the case here. This is totally a collector's piece. This packaging itself is just amazing, and I do think that the shadows inside are really great quality. So I really think that if you're a Grease fan, you definitely want to have this in your collection. But I think also if you enjoy like a beautiful shimmery shadow to add as a pop all over the lid, this would also be really great for you. That's how I intend to use it in the future. I think that if you're trying to buy a palette that you can just do one look with 100% without reaching for anything else, I think you might be a little bit disappointed. I mean, even in both of these looks that I did, I reached for some type of neutral matte shade to go through the crease first. I didn't want to go anything farther than that because I really wanted to try to use these shadows more than anything. But for me personally, I envisioned myself using another palette or some other eyeshadows that are matte, and then using this as my shimmer on the lid or highlight or underneath the lash line. Like these two shades right here, Jelly Bean and Frosty Palace, gorgeous on the lash line. And even this shade, Heartbreak, it's what I have on my lash line right now, and I did not use a wet brush this time when I put it on, but you can see that it just kind of stands out of this as the really gorgeous kind of coppery shade that you see here. So I think it's just when you're using a more concentrated brush, it really stands out more. So yeah, I definitely recommend it more for shimmers across the lid, liners, and like maybe a highlight on the inner corner. I don't think I would try to do a full look with this. I mean, you could, but I don't think that's gonna be where you're gonna be the most successful. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this review and two looks. Please give it a like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.